Okay, everybody, welcome back to the Fox 11 Sports Edge. Time now for our Game Time segment. It's our high school segment, and I'm joined by our prep expert, Doug Ritchie. Doug, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Doug, some of the conferences really kind of starting to take shape now as we start talking basketball and getting into the winter of the winter sports.
Yeah, they're taking shape. 4 or 5 games into the conferences. We're seeing some teams we expected on top. Some teams we expect to be on top are a little bit farther down, so it's real interesting right now.
Well, the fun thing about prep sports is there's always so much turnover. There's always a couple of teams that you never knew when all of a sudden the kids who now get to play are really good, and then so they move up, and some other teams, as they graduate, kids, they start to move down. So it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, it's rare the roster stays the same.
Yeah, it's very rare.
That's why it's fun to cover, because the teams change.
Usually it's against high school regulations if the roster stays exact.
4 years is all.
Exactly. Well, let's start with the boys, and we start with our game of the week this week for the boys. It was Pulaski hosting Bayport, and great matchup here. Entertaining basketball between these two teams, two of the better teams of the area.
Yeah, Cody Wickman leading Pulaski, Division I recruit, number 33 there. Bayport has some horses of their own here, Ryan Tachek being one of them, and this game came down to a 3-point shot at the buzzer that Bayport missed. Otherwise, we might be talking overtime. It was a great game.
Well, now these two teams also both teams that can score. I mean, they can fill it up, and Pulaski has a lot of different options.
They do. Wickman will get you maybe 20 a game, but guys like this, Tanner Van Evenoven, the quarterback, helped them out this night. He's not a big scorer, but they got other kids, and what happens is Wickman is so good, other guys get more open because the defense is looking out.
Yeah, Raiders did too much for the Pirates. Pulaski went a 7-0, 51-47 is the final. If you take a look at the FRCC, as Pulaski goes to 7-0, 4-0 in conference, and De Pere right there as well. And those three top teams we kind of expected this year.
I think the teams you might not expect are Manitowoc and Ashwaubenon, but they're off to good starts. They're still going to have to run through those other teams, though.
So you say Bayport, that's their first loss in conference, and we'll still hear from the Pirates quite a bit this year.
They're really good, and I love watching that team. Nate Rickle does a good job with them on offense.
It's a lot of scoring. I mean, that's the fun part about it.
They're so good passing the ball, so smart.
Yeah, it's fun to see the really good scoring on high school offensive teams because, it's great to see them just put the ball in the hoop there.
Absolutely.
Right? Well, NEW Lutheran boys, they've been at the state tournament the last 2 seasons, but they did lose some key players this year.
They did, and I had a chance to talk to the team this week, and there could still be a blaze of glory ahead for New Lutheran. It's not often a team can lose as many key players as New Lutheran did after last season and keep it going. But Coach Mark Mearson had confidence in his returning players that winning ways would continue.
We thought we had a good group coming back, but it's the minutes that were played. We lost a lot of minutes, like you said. You lose, 4 seniors off the top that have a lot of minutes, plus a lot of guys that came in off the bench. We've been doing some things right, but we still got a long ways to go.
New Lutheran has won 3 of its first 4 games. And unlike last season, where it leaned on star player Kaylor Zimmerman and Aaron Gossi, everybody's now chipping in.
We depend on a lot more people. We don't have one person that could just take over the game like Kaylor and Aaron could. If somebody's having a bad game, we're going to have more people step up and play.
It's a whole different mindset, different personalities, and they've really worked hard at trying to work together. We're probably as unselfish as we've ever been. It's still not about me. It's really about everybody else on the team, and that's really fun to watch.
Despite the roster turnover, Jared Gossi has high hopes.
Yeah, it's Madison. It always is. It's for every team. Our first goal is to play the next game. The second goal is to win conference, and then third goal is to go to state. 3
consecutive trips to state? Well, that would be great. In Green Bay, Doug Ritchie, Fox 11 Sports.
All right, thanks, Doug. And here's a look at the Pac-Land Conference for these guys. New Lutheran now 2-1 in conference, just lost to Algoma, but Algoma Kiwani right up there.
Yeah, those 3 teams probably going to battle for it. New Lutheran, they're good now. I think they're going to be better later because they do have a lot of new kids that got to get used to kind of being a star player or a go-to type player.
And it's interesting, again, with these high school teams is that you see that progression and you see players mature right before your eyes, seeing suddenly becoming leaders as they have had to take a backseat to the seniors. Seniors go away, and then you get these sophomores, juniors, and the new seniors take those leadership roles.
Yeah, they do, and I think at New Lutheran, especially the last few years, they've been so good. These kids want to keep it going. They don't want to be that team that stops the run.
I want to take a look at the girls' game now, and our game of the week on the girls' side, Green Bay Preble and De Pere, FRCC matchup, and a couple teams hoping for postseason showings. And really, on the girls' side, one of the area's top scorers, Kenzie Perttu, and Preble and De Pere, both teams that you expect to see playing sometime in March.
Yeah, and actually at Preble, I was a little surprised they won this game. Nothing against those girls, but I saw them earlier this year against Oshkosh Lords. They just weren't ready. It was their first game of the year out of the gates. They're much better now. Perttu is Perttu, but the rest of her teammates have have stepped up after losing some key players, and they're good.
And De Pere controlled this game for a little while here, and Preble gets a 3-point win. Coach says that'll help their confidence.
We always talked about believing from the beginning. They need to believe in themselves, they need to believe in the coaches, and our coaches need to believe in our coaches. And together, you know, I believe that tonight they truly believed, you know, that they could do it going in, and afterwards they've proven it.
Here's what the FRCC girls look like, as Bayport still undefeated this year. And Green Bay Preble, does that surprise you that they've managed to get out to such a quick start?
Yes and no. No, because when you got Kenzie Pertu, you always got a shot. Best player in our area for girls. But a little bit because they had some new kids coming in. But you know, they're a good program, and you know, Bayport up there, 5-0 overall, very good ball club.
Yeah, Notre Dame has done some good things so far this year as well.
Yeah, no one's surprised with those teams. They know how to win.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of history there. Moving along to the Eastern Valley now, as Freedom had a great year last year. Trying to reload this year, took on FVL this week, and Fox Valley Lutheran and Freedom, two of the top 3 teams in the Eastern Valley Conference, they squared off, and the Foxes just a little too much right now for the Freedom team.
Yeah, you know, FVL coming in, Dave Wenzel's done a good job with this group. Not surprised they're winning. Freedom lost a lot of kids, including Katie Gonery, one of our best players last year. Mike Vanderloop's done a nice job already getting Freedom to be a contender in this league, but it might come down to FVL and Xavier, which would be nice for the city of Appleton.
Yeah, well, it would be. FVL won this one 50-34 to take the win, and that moves them on to 3-0 in conference. They're 3-1 overall, and you mentioned Xavier there, and this conference just kind of getting into their schedule now. As they start along, you'll probably see these two teams at the top. Really, we'll see how Freedom, you know, is able to continue.
Yeah, those
and don't count out Berlin, of course.
You know, Berlin, Callie Walker's had a really good year. Taylor Vanderplas at Ripon. The league's got players and teams. It's going to be interesting.
And that's part of the key is if you've got good players, if you've got a player that is really, really good in high school, sometimes that's all it takes.
Yeah.
Get a hot player, ride that hot player, and be able to move through. Well, last week we talked about Lux Casco trying to overcome a lot of starters leaving. Algoma kind of the opposite. They've got lots of really good players back from the Silver Ball team from last year, and the 2 state runners-up from a season ago, Algoma and Lux Casco, were playing. And I'll tell you, Doug, one thing about Algoma, we've talked about this all last year too, is they are not afraid to play any team from any division anytime.
Yeah, and the thing, they play these teams and they beat them. And
that's why they're not afraid.
Exactly. And they tried to get the Miami Heat on the schedule this year, and LeBron said, absolutely not. I don't want any part of Taylor Schmidt and Carissa, the captain. Let me just play these NBA teams. Yeah. They're really good at Division IV. It doesn't matter the division. They're just one of our best teams in the area.
Well, Algoma won this one 56-45. And Algoma in the Packerland, they're now 5-0, 3-0 in the Packerland. But Algoma Kiwani really the cream of the crop here, although Oconto with a very good start.
Yeah, it'll come down likely Algoma Kiwani. They just got too much experience. They basically, both teams returned the whole roster. They won a Silver Ball last year, so they're the teams to beat, and it's going to be great to watch those two hit each other twice.
Yeah, exactly. I think that I smell a game of the week for sometime in the future.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Maybe two.
Not this week, though, because now it's time to talk about Fox 11's game of the week for the schools as they get ready for Christmas break. But this week, the girls, we're going to start off right away. Right out of the gate. We're not waiting around on this one. We're going to go Monday, and Algoma De Pere, which is a rematch from last year. I remember that great game from last year.
Yeah, and Algoma won 5-6 at De Pere. De Pere coming off a tough loss, Algoma cruising. That's going to be really interesting. Usually we don't like Mondays. I like Mondays.
Well, you know, hey, Algoma, like we said, they'll play anybody anywhere, and they're fine to head back down to De Pere and take them on. Now on Thursday, Sheboygan North and Bayport, two of the top teams in that conference, are going to be slugging it out. And these are two very fun teams to watch offensively.
They score. Tom Dessa tells Fast Break at Sheboygan North. Everybody knows about it. They do it really well. Bayport knows how to score. And interesting, the loser of this game will probably be 2 games out early. It's early, but still, it won't be easy to catch a De Pere or Pulaski.
Yeah, don't want to get too far back. Well, make sure you check out our high school section under the sports tab. Fox11online.com. Go to highlights, one-on-one interviews with players. Doug's got plenty of stuff on there, updating it every single day, including photo galleries. If you like the photos, and these photos, you're really turning into an Ansel Adams, I got to be honest with you.
I do what I can. You know, good thing the camera's there. I just push the button.
Yeah, the Pulitzer is next. All right, thank you very much, Doug Ritchie, our prep expert. We appreciate that. Still more